Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if you can still hear it, but it's thundering outside. I was trying to go. I pushed back 10 minutes to see if the would if the storm would clear up, but it's not, and I don't want to push it back any further. So we will do our best with what we have. Um, Let me set a few things up. How are you all doing today? I'm doing pretty good myself, I have to say. Let me check out the chat and see what's going on here. Toneman says, "Hey yo, Dizzy Gillespie plays a sax me. Me myself, I love to max red bone booties. I'm out to wax stick up kids. Is out to tax spring again, and I'm feeling fine. Pass me an ice cold glass of wine." See the way you wrote that, you have to write it with breaks in the way he's saying it. Like you have to put, well, like I don't know whether you can in the chat because it does. I don't know where to pause when I'm trying to recount this rap, but I could tell it's nice and smooth. JJ here. He says, "Hey Tony." Tonyman says, "So can I get mellow, lay back, and let my girl play the cello? Hello, hate Jello. Obi, let me be me. Relax in my teepee. Watch a Hardy Boy mystery. Greg Nice I'm sorry, Greg NICE ever believe that you can deceive me? See, I almost got me. All right, I'm glad y'all are kicking it in chat. I always get a kick out of Lady Shasha kicking old school rhymes. It tickles me inside. Yeah, because I can never say them right. So you like trolling me in this way. Okay, a brother of a certain age is here. Had a scare about my sound. Fomikilati's here. She says, "Hey y'all." Okay, the sound. I guess it fixed itself. All right. Yes, nice and smooth. Uh, you should have wrote the one with Ricket to Rocket is my favorite cartoon. After marriage, the honeymoon. I'll be damned, get me with a spoon. See, I know some of these things. I just didn't. It didn't click right away when you wrote that. But let's get started. Let me share my screen, and we will get started with this is I call it horror news because I think it's still like horror adjacent, but I think it's kind of a cool thing. This is coming courtesy of Bloody Disgusting, and it says, "Want to own a drive-in? New website launches to find the next generation of drive-in theater owners." It would be kind of cool to own a drive-in. I have to admit that sounds like a kind of cool thing. So what do we have to do to own a drive-in? um Let me look at the date. This was published June 6th, so I'm a little late on telling the story. Written by John Squires. June 6th was National Drive-In Movie Day, which makes it the absolute perfect day to celebrate the launch of drive-insnearme.com. Let me scroll down so you guys can see. It's underlined here in red. The drive-insnearme.com, a brand new website created by drive-in owners that's dedicated to finding and fostering the next generation of drive-in theater owners. See, I can hear that thunder. I hope my internet doesn't let's knock on. I have nothing but for micro. Oh, here's some wood. Knock on wood that the internet does not quit on me, because I have two streams tonight. Because after this stream, I'm going to live stream with Jose Prendes, who is the director of Morgan, the Killer Doll, and three of the cast members. So hopefully tonight, internet, stay with me. The team explains currently there are several drive-in theaters for sale across the country due to owners retiring, and many more drive-ins will be for sale over the next few years as more owners seek to retire. We wish to maintain these locations as drive-ins, and to that end, we are hoping to raise awareness for those who are interested in drive-in ownership. The new website contains both a list of drive-ins for sale as well as information about drive-in ownership. They're also making other resources available to future drive-in owners, including hosting Drive-In Con in November 2025. A convention for future drive-in owners and fans. The convention will promote drive-in ownership and celebrate the drive-in experience. I am with that. If I lived in the North, I probably would definitely want to own a drive-in. I don't know how well drive-ins do in Florida because it's generally too hot to be outside in your car during the summertime. But up north, I grew up going to the drive-in. Look at how many cars are. I like, you see, if you guys notice, if you're watching from outside the US and you don't have drive-ins, you'll notice that some of the cars are parked forward and some of the cars are parked backwards. That's because some people have setups in the back of their cars to watch the movies. Like if you see in the bottom left corner of this picture, there's a blow-up sofa that's in the back of a pickup truck. And so they've backed in so they can sit on a blow-up sofa. You see a couple people with their picnic chairs there. For us, back in the day, my father had a full-size van, like one of those, those vans from the 70s and 80s. And we used to just take sleeping bags and put on the top of it and sit on the roof. But you can only really do that if you're like kind of in the back because you don't want to obscure, other people's view. But we generally didn't arrive super early, so we were in the back, so it was okay to do that. You don't want to be up in the front row doing that. That's hella disrespectful. Although the screen, as you can see, the screen is pretty high. Let me see what's going on in the chat. A brother of a certain age says, "Who loves Popeye? Alice the Goon." Someone says, "Hey, Fo, always here. I love it. I'm not hearing it. Must be well insulated or not." No, there's definitely thunder going on. It's been going on for the last half an hour. But it hadn't started raining yet. Yeah. And Fo Making Latte says, "Poor red bone and high yellow women. They've been through enough." What with being fetishized in hip hop was. Yes. And you can always tell. You can tell a color struck person. And when I've encountered color struck dudes, like back when I was younger, I just used to tell them, "I'm not a substitute for a white girl. If you want that, go and get it." I'm not that. I'm not. Hey, and also for anyone who's younger watching this and they're being fetishized by someone who's colorist, remember that fetishization comes with a side meal of self-hate, and a person that hates themselves cannot possibly love you. You have to love yourself in order to be able to love other people. So steer clear of people like that. Where was I? Back to the drive-in. Oh, I didn't finish saying where the drive-in con in November will be held. It's being held at the Autorama Drive-In Theater. Drive-In Con will include discussions and masterclasses on drive-in ownership, where prospective drive-in owners will meet and learn from current drive-in owners on how to buy or build your own drive-in. While drive-in theaters have a nostalgic history, they have been boldly leaped into the 21st century. Drive-in theaters now combine the nostalgic outdoor movie-going experience with modern state-of-the-art technology, including bright digital projection, digital stereo sound, and the largest screens in the country. Oh, that's cool. The Drive-In Theater Owners Organization, UDITOA, the United Drive-In Theater Owners Association, and Mobile Moviegoing have teamed up to create this definitive drive-in website, which unites the nearly 300 drive-in theaters located across the globe. The site features listings of drive-ins, and search functions allow moviegoers to locate drive-ins near them. Drive-ins Near Me also features the drive-in and theater news. Drive-ins Near Me will provide a community for drive-in enthusiasts, including social media for connecting with other drive-in fans and drive-in theater owners, a history of drive-in theaters, updates on drive-in events across the country, and a blog by drive-in owners. Have you ever wanted to own your own drive-in? You have the opportunity to carry on the great tradition, and you'll find all the resources you need at driveinsnearme.com. And they do have a little ad here. Let me, I'm going to stop the screen and reshare it so that we can see their ad. Okay, let's scroll down and see the ad.
It's a great time to go to the drive-in movie theater. Drive-ins are thriving, with hundreds across the country and many showing first-run blockbusters. If you go to driveinsnearme.com, the new website created by drive-in owners, you can enter your zip code and locate the nearest drive-in. You can also find the latest drive-in movie news. Have you ever thought about owning a drive-in movie theater? If you like to have a family-owned business and enjoy the outdoors, owning a drive-in could be for you. We're looking for the next generation of drive-in owners. Several drive-in theaters are for sale right now all over the country. Driveinsnearme.com has a list of drive-ins for sale and also information on Drive-In Con, the upcoming convention for future drive-in owners and fans, where you'll be able to learn how to run your own drive-in. We'll see you at driveinsnearme.com and at the movies.
That was very, very cool. Let me see what you guys are thinking. Tom Baker says, I'm jealous you have drive-ins not over here. Yeah, and they would really be ideal over there, especially during the summertime, because here, because if I'm recalling correctly, Tom, you're in Belgium. I think your climate is similar to our climate in the northern part of the United States. Think of like Washington State across the north through to New York on up to Maine. We have seasons where, it's snowy and cold all winter, and then we have about 3 months where it's very warm. And typically the drive-ins in those areas only operate from about April to maybe early November. A lot of times they stop in October. So it's more of a spring summer thing. It's really very seasonal. However, in other parts of the country, they may operate year round because the climate allows for that. So where you're at in Belgium, it would be ideal to have something like that for the spring and summertime. So it says, speaking of drive-ins, I'm thinking on finding the HD projector over here and using it since it's somewhere in a box. Yeah, it should be in the garage somewhere. The issue with drive-ins in Florida are the bugs. I should move this because this is like casting a shadow. Hopefully that doesn't affect how it sounds. But all the mosquitoes, oh my gosh, you will get tore up down here in the summertime. So it's very hard to have things in the evening unless you pre-treat the whole area. And the whole area, it may be difficult to pre-treat without harming the wildlife. So I don't know how they do it at Disney. Knowing Disney, they probably don't care about the wildlife, but it is what it is. Okay, now we have some industry news coming to us from Deadline Hollywood. Okay, I'm accepting the cookies. Here we go. All right, this says, and there's a breaking news alert at the top here. It says, okay, allow. Robert Eggers writing and directing a Christmas Carol movie for Warner Brothers. Eyes Willem Dafoe to star. So that's the breaking news update at the top of Deadline. Then underneath that, we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre bidding war. Talks heat up. Taylor Sheridan among new names in the mix, according to The Dish. This is put together by Anthony D'Alessandro and Justin Kroll. Shout out to them. All right, says exclusive talks for who will wind up with the much prized Texas Chain Massacre intellectual property are beginning Monday, as anywhere from 5. This is this past Monday. As anywhere from 5 to 8 studios and/or streamers are vying for rights of the Tobe Hooper and Kim Hinkle created. I didn't know about Kim Hinkle. We always hear about Tobe Hooper. Is this a situation that's similar to the Deborah Hill of the Halloween of it all? Because they always say John Carpenter and never say Deborah Hill, even though she co-wrote it. So it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something like that as well, where we always hear about Tobe Hooper but don't hear about Kim Hinkle? Okay. Monday, as anywhere from 5 to 8 studios and or streamers are vying for rights of the Tobe Hooper and Kim Hinkle created property that encompasses film, TV, live events, and games. You always have to add those several things in there. They should also think of any type of future media too. Like I would copyright holograms, AI, all of that. You have to think ahead a little bit. Tony says, depending on your blood type, mosquitoes avoid A blood type but love O blood type. I don't know. I haven't heard that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not true. Who else would be a connoisseur of blood other than a mosquito? Yeah. Okay, according to Deadline, we first told you about this beauty contest administered by Verve, the agency having repped rights to the slasher franchise since 2017. Exerbia Films is the primary production company behind Texas Chainsaw Massacre, with Pat Cassidy, Ian Hinkle, and Kim Hinkle as producers. The property is repped by attorney Marios Rush. There are no clear frontrunners in the bidding. However, new creative parties have emerged with a passion for the project. Myriad notable creative entities have teamed with studios to pitch Verve and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre rights holders on their vision for notorious killer Leatherface, who uses his chainsaw to go on a cannibalistic killing spree. Since we first told you about the project, Taylor Sheridan's name has gained steam as having interest in the property. At this point in time, Sheridan would only serve as a producer on the future Texas Chainsaw Massacre project. No surprise that he's interested, as Sheridan was raised in Texas. In regards to the Oz Perkins version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we understand the Longlegs filmmaker would only produce and co-write with Brian Bertino. Bertino, who directed the original 2008 The Strangers, would helm this particular version of Leatherface should need win the rights. I would not like that in either of their hands. I like Oz Perkins, but I don't want Texas Chainsaw Massacre in his hands. I definitely don't want it in the hands of anyone that's done a Strangers movie. Those movies are ass to me. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry to fans of The Strangers. Those movies are so boring and terrible to me. I don't want them to do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm reading this article hoping a certain name comes up. Can you guess whose name I'm thinking of in the comments? What director would be perfect for Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I can think of two. I have a number one and a number two. You guys guess in the chat who you think I think the number one and number two directors of Texas Chainsaw Massacre should be. Okay. We first reported that Strange Darlings, J.T. Molnar, and a Minecraft movie and weapons producer Roy Lee were kicking the tires. We understand that's a TV pitch aligned with A24. No Texas Chainsaw Massacre TV show. I'm sorry. No, do not do that. Stop it. Where is it? We understand that's a TV pitch aligned with A24 and will have Austin native Glenn Powell involved, but not starring. Separately, Lee has a feature film pitch for Texas Chainsaw Massacre that would be set up at Netflix. I also don't want it to be Netflix. I want Shudder to get it. I want Shudder or Tubi to get it because I feel like there's more leeway there. It seems to me that Netflix likes to push a little bit of a PG-13-ness to their horror, and I don't see that with Shudder. I feel like the person would have more, if it was going straight to streaming, I think the person would have more leeway to do what they want to do with Shudder. Okay, here's an interesting one. Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw is another new part to emerge with an eye on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, also in a producing capacity. Monkey Paw has a production deal at Universal. Let's see here. I see Tom Baker has made a note here. Tony Man, I watch how you make your own home cinema space in YouTube and how to make one too with authentic cinema seats. There is someone on YouTube that does have authentic cinema seats. Jen's Reviews from the Grave. She has authentic cinema seats. They're old school and they're like classic cinema seats. So check out Jen's Reviews from the Graves. She has authentic cinema seats that she sits on with her daughter doing reviews. Oh, Tom Baker, we don't have a basement. In Florida, most homes don't have basements because we are at sea level. And if you dig too far, you're going to hit water. So I think there's some homes in the northern part of Florida that have basements, but where we're at, there are no basements here. So you have to add an additional room onto your house, or some people have even changed their garages into an extra room. Tony Man says, I was going to play the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game until I found out you couldn't be Leatherface and you had to go online with other players and survive. Boring. Fominky Latte guessed my number one person. Yes, Rob Zombie. He turns everything he does into Texas Chainsaw Massacre anyways. Why is he not part of this conversation? As of yet, I haven't finished reading the article, but his name should be number one. Tony Man guessed my number two. He says Brava or Roth. I'll guess Zombie. Yes, Zombie's my number one. Eli Roth was my number two. I those are the two that yes, those two. Give it to them. Foaming Elijah says, I enjoy every iteration of A Christmas Carol. Willem Dafoe as Ebenezer Scrooge would be interesting. Yes, yes, yes. Sandy Absolute is in the house. She's waving. Hey, Sandy. All right, let's see who else comes up in this article. Now, I'm going to reread the last paragraph because I thought that was interesting. Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw is another new party to emerge with an eye on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Also in producing capacity, Monkey Paw has a production deal at Universal, which is good. That means double the money, kind of. The original 1974 movie was made for $140,000 and by Brian theatrical release of the 1972 X-rated title Deep Throat. Texas Chainsaw Massacre would go on to make $31 million, with the filmmakers getting stiffed on the profits. Oh, I never knew that. That's really unfortunate. I hope maybe they could sue or something. I don't know what the statute of limitations for that is. In 1983, New Line Cinema acquired distribution rights with the entire franchise via 9 movies grossing north of $252 million worldwide. There are also comics, a novel, and 2 video game adaptations. New Line launched a prolific 2003 remake directed by German filmmaker Markus Nipsel with Michael Bay producing. So, you know what? It's interesting they always call it the Michael Bay Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It should be called the Markus Nipsel since he's the director. Anyways, produced and Pre-Quiet Place Andrew Form and Brad Fuller executive producing, starring Jessica Biel, just as she was segueing from Seventh Heaven to feature films. That title remains the highest grossing in the 51-year-old franchise at $107 million. Although I do think that last Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was on Netflix, I think they could have actually placed that in theaters. I don't know whether it would have done numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't do numbers. I mean, or if it did do numbers, I should say. I wouldn't have been surprised. Classic horror franchises rebooted after several years laid dormant are big business, especially when left in the hands of passionate auteurs, i.e. Scream 6, under the direction of Radio Silence, opened to a series best at the domestic box office with $44.4 million and $108 million domestic. In 2023, ditto for 2018's Halloween, which saw the return of Jamie Lee Curtis under the direction of David Gordon Green. That pick opened to a franchise high of $76.2 million and ended its domestic run at $159.3 million. Recently, Final Destination Bloodlines, the first sequel in 14 years in New Line's 25-year-old series, opened. I can hear motorcycles outside, sorry. Why are you racing and it's just about to rain? You guys really want to, take your life in your own hands. Where am I? Recently, Final Destination Bloodlines, the first sequel in 14 years in New Line's 25-year-old series, opened to a franchise high of $51.6 million and quickly became the highest grossing installment in the 6-film series with a current running global take of $235 million. Yeah, so they're definitely going to try to milk this franchise. And the thing about it is Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of, out of all of the what I call the big, well, I guess we'll call the big 4, because there would be Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be like the big 4. Tentatively, I would put Hellraiser, although I do not consider Hellraiser to be an actual slasher movie. I feel like it's a little bit more than a slasher. Not more, but there's more going on there than just slashing. So I'm going to call it the Big Four. Of the Big Four, Texas Chainsaw Massacre didn't get the number of sequels I think that it deserved. And I mean sequels, not prequels, not reboots, just straight sequels. And I think that's because people keep trying to change the formula, including Tobe Hooper himself, because Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, although it had an amazing opening, I love the opening, I don't love that he went more comedy with it because the comedy just didn't land for me. So he was like the first to make it go in a totally different direction, where I like the idea of different people stumbling upon the Sawyer family home and getting what they get. Kind of similar to how Wrong Turn is kind of like. If I watched all those, I have only seen the first Wrong Turn movie, but I'm assuming that the sequels have that people stumble into the same wrong part of the woods. But yeah, I have hope still for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Tonyman says that last one was the only one that lived up to the actual title. Yes, it was the only one that featured an actual chainsaw massacre. And I enjoyed that part. Especially try anything and you're gonna, what you said, you're getting canceled. Try anything, you're getting canceled, bro. That was hilarious. That was so hilarious to me. Okay, let's get into our next story here. We have this is more of just an update than a full story. And it's that Weapons now has a poster. Zach Krieger's Weapons has a poster, and this is brought to us by Alex DiVincenzo, courtesy of Bloody Disgusting. What do you guys think of the poster? I think it's kind of cute. Well, that might not be the whole thing. Let me scroll down and make sure. Is there? Yeah, let me scroll down. That's not the full poster. Here's the full poster. There it is. Okay, what do you guys think of the poster? Let me read what they wrote. It says the kids aren't all right in Weapons, the sophomore film from Barbarian writer-director Zach Krieger. And if you guys have not seen Barbarian, I think you should check it out. It's not what you think it is. It's not just those two characters in a house being psychologically thrilling. No, it's not that at all. It starts off feeling like that, but then it takes a left turn, which I really, really enjoy. I did do a spoiler-free review. I should come back and do a spoiler-filled review because I think that would be a lot of fun. But I would check out Barbarian. I really enjoyed that movie. Now it says, check out the new poster for the horror thriller Below. It opens in theaters August 8th via Warner Brothers. When all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. Josh Brolin from Avengers Endgame. Of course, I know him from Goonies, like way back in the day when he was a teenager on a bicycle. Julia Garner, Wolfman. Alden Ehrenreich from Solo, A Star Wars Story. Austin Abrams from The Walking Dead. Kerry Christopher from Mank. Benedict Wong from Doctor Strange. And Amy Madigan from Field of Dreams Star. Kreger produces under his Subconscious banner alongside New Line Cinema. Whenever I see New Line, I get excited. I just feel like they carry so much positive memories for horror fans. So when I see New Line Cinema, I automatically am giving it like positive feeling. Now, where was I? Kreger produces under his Subconscious banner alongside New Line Cinema, Vertigo Entertainment, and Boulder Light Pictures. Weapons may exist in the same universe as Barbarian. Also, we got a little bit of tea there. Dive deeper into the mystery and on maybrookmissing.com. You know what? We should go on there. That maybrookmissing.com. Y'all go on their site and see what they got going on. I want to go on their site. Let me see what's going on here in the chat before I go there. Doc Kaiju's in the house says, hi all, I'm working, but stopping by to say hi. Hello. Thank you for stopping by. I hope I'm helping you get through your work day. Doc says, usually I can chill longer, but longer while working. It's no problem. It's no problem. I always appreciate you stopping by. Sandy Absolute says, Tony Man, are you talking about the last Texas Chainsaw with the sister? I think he is. Although the two sisters were very annoying, they got what they had coming to them, didn't they? I shouldn't laugh about that. But let me check out this website. Now, what was it called again? Maybrook Missing. Let's pull it up. Oh, come on. Why can't I type over this? Come on. Computer's acting a funky mess. It's not letting me. Maybe if I open another tab. Let me try that. MaybrookMissing.com. There we go. Okay, there's a MaybrookMissing.net and .com. Or okay, the website says .com. So that's official site. Let's see what they've got going on here. Maybrook News. I like the old school font that looks like when high schools first had when they first got websites. This is literally what it looked like back in like 2003. Okay, it says here, Maybrook Parent Teacher Association. To all the concerned members of the Maybrook community, we will not rest until this mystery is solved. There's that thunder. You know what? And it's funny because I do have my hurricane lamp right here. Because it is hurricane season there. So the lights go out. I won't be completely out of. Of course, I also have I have Jason here too. That's pretty cool. I'll talk to you more about that later. Okay, back to this website. At 2:17 a.m. Wednesday morning, a group of third graders from our school in Miss Gandy's class, who had recently transferred after an incident at her previous school, voluntarily left their homes. Authorities are baffled by the inexplicable disappearances, which has shaken the community to its core. In the aftermath of the disappearance, we held a school assembly where numerous parents were able to express their increasing concern about both the investigation and the whereabouts of their children. One parent exclaimed, "I don't understand at all. Why her classroom? Why only hers?" As our school principal attempted to reassure the crowd, with no sign of force and no further information coming to light, we're left with the lingering question, why? Is there anything else on here? There's a couple of videos. Are these like home videos from people's Ring cameras? Let's see. That's a child running. This one is showing another child running down the street. Let me see if I can increase the size. Okay, I can. Okay, so that's like Ring footage of a child running across. Let's check out the next one. Another one running across the street from like it's supposed to be like a traffic camera. And let's check out the third one. Another child running. Motion detected at front door. Now there's two children running. And three. And then it just stops there. Very interesting. I like how they're kind of like Blair Witching this. Oh, there's more. Okay. We have a couple more. 17 local children leave home simultaneously at 2:17 a.m. Underground prison discovered in rental home. That is great because this is from Barbarian. Let me see. Is it clickable? Yes. Let's see what it says. Maybrook News. So this is how we know it is absolutely in the same universe. Let me take a sip of coffee. Okay, it says here. Let me move that post-it note. A rental property in Detroit's Brightmoor neighborhood has become the focus of a chilling investigation after a local woman escaped the home under shocking circumstances, and an actor was found dead nearby. Police were alerted after Tess Marshall, 28, was discovered injured and disoriented outside the Barbary Street property. What began as a simple wellness check turned into a large-scale crime scene. Investigators uncovered a network of hidden tunnels beneath the home, sparking questions about the property's history and potential connection to unsolved disappearances dating back decades. Sources close to the investigation say the tunnels were likely constructed in the 1980s by a previous homeowner, now deceased. Disturbing items found in the subterranean chambers suggest prolonged and possibly criminal activity, though police have not confirmed details pending ongoing forensic analysis. The property had recently been listed as a short-term rental. Marshall, in town for a job interview, had reportedly been staying at the house when events took a violent turn. City officials are now urging caution and have announced emergency inspections of similar abandoned or neglected properties throughout the Brightmoor neighborhood. Mayor Cheryl Parks issued a statement calling the case deeply troubling and promised a full investigation into how much activity could go unnoticed for so long. Okay, we have a new subscriber here whose name is I Farted. Okay, thank you for subscribing. Tony says, no loss of power, please. It's summer here. Basically, the oven on the sun. I'd rather keep the AC, thanks. Yes, me too. Doc says, I can assist, feel the suspense. I want to see this movie right now. Yeah, isn't it? I can already, Doc says, I can already feel the suspense. I want to see this movie. Yeah, this is definitely one of my most anticipated. Sandy says, are you guys talking about the new movie Weapons? Yes, we are. We are on the website, Sandy. Apparently, there's a website associated with the movie called maybrookmissing.com. And Weapons is in the same universe as Barbarian. And so we're reading this website that's like the local news or the local town news. I'll go back to the main page where this is if you guys are old enough to remember Blair Witch, I should take a moment to explain for anyone that's younger. Before the Blair Witch Project came out, there was a website about, what was it called? Oh, goodness. I can't remember the name of the area. The something witch. I wonder if the site is still active. Let me see if I can bring it up. It might still be active. Blair Witch original website. Oh, there's no E. They have blairwitch.net, but that's not the original site. Was something, it was called, I can't remember the name of the place. It's somewhere in Pennsylvania, but it was called something else. Let me see if this shows the original site. Yeah, this is Blair Witch. It was a Burkittsville. It was like the Burkittsville Witch. I think the site was called the Burkittsville Witch. And they would post links on different like chat rooms. This is back in the 90s. And then even the three stars of the movie, they would post as their characters in the different chat rooms. And then suddenly they just stopped posting. And so it really seemed like they were missing for real. Before, this is months before the movie came out. And that's what this site that's associated with Weapons is giving me. Back then, what they did with the Blair Witch. And that's why Blair Witch hit so much harder, is because they built up an anticipation. They built up a lore way before the movie came out. I don't know. Who here is old enough to remember the original Blair Witch, I guess, viral campaign? I would say it's like the first movie viral campaign. Is anyone here old enough to remember that? And do you remember seeing the posts on chat rooms and in forums and the old original website. Doc Kaiju said, I'm glad you read that because it kind of recapped Barbarian for me. I knew I saw it, but wasn't sure if I was thinking of the right movie, but I was. And they also say, I love when movies exist in the same world like that. Most films by Full Moon Features, studios, whatever they call themselves at the time, connect in some way. Yeah, what I found out is Full Moon Features and Full Moon Films, I think the difference used to be, I don't know if this is still the case, it used to be that Full Moon Films were produced with the goal of being actually released in theaters, whereas Full Moon Video it's Full Moon Features, Full Moon Video, and Full Moon Pictures, I think, are the three different things. But one of them is direct to video, and one of them was initially not, but now all of their stuff is direct to video. Doc Kaiju says, although there are some alternate timelines like the Puppet Master. Yeah. Doc Kaiju says, I saw the original Blair Witch campaign, so I'm glad it's not just me and not just in my head. It was better than the film. Yeah, I think without the campaign, the film would not have hit at all. I think the campaign lent itself to that. Tony Man said, of course, I'm looking for it now. Are you looking for the original site, Tony Man? See if you can find it. Sandy absolutely says, I went to the movies to see the Blair Witch Project. I actually wasn't sure if they were really missing or not. Yeah, a lot of us weren't because, like I said, they were literally interacting with us on chat rooms and stuff. So I thought that was really great promotion. Okay, let's go on to our next story. Because I kind of got sidetracked. I might have to save some of my stories that I have for this week for next week because of that little side quest we got into. Yeah, I think what I'll do, I have a interview here with the writer of Predator Killer of Killers. What I'll do is I'll move on to the next things, and then if we have time, I'll come back to it. So we'll do like that and jump to the next thing. Okay, so let's get into some new releases this Friday. That's a cool picture right there. All right, this is coming to us courtesy of Bloody Disgusting, published by John Squires. And let's get started. It says, vampires are all the rage this week with Ryan Coogler's Sinners now available at home. It's joined by a bloody indie bloodsucker movie and even a Vietnamese vamp movie, both sinking their things onto VOD. But that's just the start of this week's 10 new horror releases, which also include the return of the Predator franchise with the saga's first ever animated movie. Doc says, I take it that Predator KOK is worth watching. Yes. And I will be streaming about it. Actually, it's going to be me, Tony Man, Marty from Trash Picture Show, and just recently, Horror Miser Monty G has accepted my invitation to join us tomorrow. So we're going to really get into Predator Killer of Killers. It will be an earlier show. We'll be coming on at 5:30 p.m. because, as you guys know, if you're subscribed to Trash Picture Show, Marty is in Ireland, and so it would be way too late for us to do it later than 5:30. But we're going to get into not just Predator Killer of Killers. We're going to do a little bit of a retrospective of the Predator franchise, and then we're going to talk about Predator Killer of Killers. Sandy says, regardless, the movie scared yeah, it was very creepy. Doc Kaiju says, the image of that vampire girl sells me on whatever film it is. Great makeup job. Yeah, I agree. Tony Man says it's archived, but nothing is on it. However, it's available on GoDaddy for $5,000. Oh, so if anyone wants to buy the original Blair Witch website, it's available for $5,000 on GoDaddy. Sandy says, correction, a Blair Witch movie scared me to death. The ending with Heather being left alone was too much. Yet the ending, the thing that creeped me out the most was Homeboy standing in the corner of the basement. I don't know why that's so creepy to me. Probably because the way they set it up. I think one of the strongest things they did in Blair Witch was the interviews at the beginning of the movie, which is, it's shot in a documentary style at the very beginning. It puts you in the frame of mind of, like, if you've never seen Blair Witch, it's like Lake Mungo, the way it starts, and then it ends more like not as fast-paced as Wreck, but scary in that kind of way. But the beginning is more like Lake Mungo and being more documentary style. Or I could even compare it to Hell House LLC. Of course, without Blair Witch, there wouldn't be Hell House LLC. That's Blair Witch's baby. But yeah, because the beginning started out very documentary style, and it interviewed all the people in not all the people, but all these different people in Burkittsville, and some of the stories that they were telling circled back around to the end of the movie. In the back of your mind, you're remembering, oh, the story that guy told about the person standing in the corner and what happens next. So when you see the person standing in the corner, your mind goes back to that story. It's just really well done. Where was I? Okay. Vampires are all the rage this week, with Ryan Coogler's Sinners now available at home. It's joined by a bloody indie bloodsucker movie and even a Vietnamese vamp movie, both sinking their fangs onto VOD. But that's just the start of this week's 10 new horror releases, which also include the return of the Predator franchise with the saga's first ever animated movie. Okay, there's another image, might be from the same movie. Let me scroll down to it so you guys can see. There we go. Here's all the new horror that released from June 2nd to June 6th. So it's this previous weekend. From Magnificent Films and Silent D Pictures, Sean Cronin's indie vampire movie Bogeyville sank its teeth into all VOD outlets beginning this past Tuesday, June 3rd. Let me open a tab and see where. I'm going to do a Roku search for Bogeyville and see where it's playing. Oh, come on. There's a search. Bogeyville. Because I have not heard of this one at all. There it is. Okay, so according to my Roku, it's available on Prime Video for $3.99, Fandango for $3.99, Apple TV for $4.99, and Plex from $5.99. So that's where that is playing. Of course, when I do a Roku search, sometimes it does not display what is on HBO or Shudder. So sometimes you might have to open the tab and check to see if it's on Shudder. But let's get more into that. In the film, a young couple on the run comes across an American trailer park and are convinced to stay by the sinister caretaker Crawford. But they soon learn that he is in fact the guardian of the residents of Bogeyville, themselves a pack of bloodthirsty vampires. Next up, we have Indonesian film star, or is this in the same movie? Oh no, this is in the same movie. Indonesian film star Arifin Putra from The Raid 2 and newcomer Eloise Lovell Anderson from Villain star, along with Sean Cronin as the lead vampire Madison. Serena Taylor from Solitary, Poppy J. Hughes from Our Kid, Daniel P. Lewis from Wuthering Heights, Andrew Lee Potts from The Crown, and Katie Sheridan from The Royal Nanny also star. Bogeyville was filmed in England and is produced by Johnny Chen for Silent D Pictures, along with Cronin for Magnificent Films. Harry P. Graville wrote the screenplay. So that's that one. And then we have another one up, which, oh, you know what? There's a trailer in here. Okay, let me stop the screen and represent so that you can hear. And we'll play the trailer. I didn't realize that this had trailers in it. I shared it the other way. There we go. So let's check out the trailer. Let me make this a little bit larger. There we go. Will it play? There it goes.
Madison Farm, mobile home park. You see anything?
I can just make out some trailers or something.
This place looks abandoned.
I don't think even God knows of this place.
You got anyone gonna come looking for
Oh, I
you?
recognize him. Yeah, I recognize him now from The Raid 2.
Never leave this house at night.
The are yet to be identified animal struck again last night.
Now they say this was shot in England, but it seems that everyone is doing an American accent. But the thing about it is the trailers look distinctly UK trailers. Like our trailers, we do have some like that, but our trailer parks don't look like that. That looks more like kind of the way the Irish travelers have their I don't know if they're called trailer parks. They might call them something else. Maybe camps. I'm not sure what the Irish travelers call their parks, but that looks similar to how their parks are set up as opposed to how trailer parks in the US are set up. But the American accents are pretty good. I'm going to hit play again. I have to pause it because for copyright, I have to really interact with the trailer a lot so that they know that I'm not trying to take their content without doing commentary. So I apologize if that breaks the flow of the trailer. I just have to do that. Sandy says, I'm not happy with the new Predator's face. It wasn't right since Predator 2. Sandy, I know what you're talking about, but you're thinking of the Predator Badlands. That one is different from Killer of Killers. The Predators in Killer of Killers looks pretty good. I agree with you with the Predator from Predator Badlands. I don't like its face, but I understand that they could be drawing from the comic book series because there are different cultures of Predator. Which we're gonna have a Predator expert on tomorrow afternoon, by the way, Marty. He can tell you all the different Utja, I think is how they call themselves, Utja. They're different. I don't want to call them races because I don't know if that would be the right term, but I'm gonna say cultures or different types of predators. There's different types of Utja predators, and so I'm guessing that Predator Badlands is based off of one of those that's featured in the comic book and not the one that's from the movie series that we're used to. But the ones in Killer of Killers looked great. Doc says, so Full Moon is producer Charles Band. He has had a lot of money issues and bankrupt and stuff, so he has had to sell and close companies and then start new ones with Full Moon in the name. Ah, I understand. I believe he called it Full Moon Studios or Entertainment when he was working with Paramount. He was Empire Pictures or Films when he was with MGM. MGM owns most of that now. Oh, very interesting. Found it on my kayfabe site. It's definitely shot in England. Opening scene shows a Pace gas station, and gas is 151.9 per gallon in America. Maybe the decimal point's in the wrong place. Maybe because I'm trying to figure out 150. Rewrite that. Is that pounds? Or is it shillings? Because that's 151. Okay. That kind of says, during Empire, he was working with his late father and art director, Albert Band. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what else is going on with this Bogeyville.
Some murders, including the slaughter last night in Marcy's, still unexplained.
Tell me what the hell is going on.
Vampires.
Notice there ain't no any blood around here. No single drop. Can I help you?
I'm not so sure it was an animal.
These vampires kind of remind me of the ones from 30 Days of Night. Should I continue playing this trailer? Because I feel like they're showing a bit too much. What do you guys say? Let's take a vote. Thumbs up to continue the trailer. Thumbs down to stop it here because it's showing too much. Because if you show too much, you're going to ruin the surprises when you watch the movie. I'll wait a second for you guys to tell me if I should continue the trailer or no. Okay, I'm not getting any. I'm online. I haven't got getting no thumbs up or thumbs down to continue the trailer or not. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next story because y'all y'all are not even, I guess you're not even paying attention. Okay, so we have another horror release called Daydreamers, also vampire related. Tony says, I mean, I'm watching it now and there's a kill in 2 minutes in by a vampire. Just show it. Okay. So it's only if that happens in the first 2 minutes of the movie, I guess it's not too much of a spoiler. Doc says no opinion on working. Oh, no. I know, Doc. I wasn't referring to you. I was not referring to you. I know if you're at work, I know. But if you're not at work, cool. Okay, so I'll play the rest of the trailer.
This is crazy. I haven't seen crazy yet. It's coming.
This can't be happening.
Oh, it is. And sadly, you two are smack dab in the middle of it. What if they don't like
The
us?
effects look pretty
You're
good.
dead. If we leave, you're dead. Can't have the little secret getting out. We have to get the hell out of here while we still can.
I can't go. My scent.
My thing is, if there's only 2 characters and 6 vampires, how are they going to stretch this storyline out? Like, I feel like maybe it would have worked better. It was a group of people that were traveling together that stumbled onto this place than just those 2 people. How are they going to make this interesting for more than 20 minutes?
You don't need her.
Oh, and not have the 2 main characters protected by plot armor. That's the thought I was trying to complete.
Tony, I want to see y'all.
Okay, so you got those people coming through. So maybe
bad news about Bogeyville.
okay, so you do have a bunch of people show up. So maybe they become also, some victims. Because I need 2 victims in the entire movie. Oh, Tony, man, I mean, Doc just says kidding about the brain surgery. I cleaned the ORs. It's still a very honorable profession. Tony Man says 6 versus 2 challenge accepted. You counted the vampires? All right, let's get into our next vampire movie that's coming out. This one is from Vietnam, which I'm really excited about because I have not seen a Vietnamese horror movie yet. I've seen, obviously, we've, in the States, we often get to see Japanese horror. As of the last decade, we've been getting a lot more horror offerings from South Korea. Indonesia has great horror movies. Thailand has great horror movies. We every now and then get a Filipino horror movie, but I have yet to see a Vietnamese horror movie. So I'm very excited to see Vietnamese horror movies. Oh, and also I zoomed in specifically on Asia, but on YouTube there's also quite a lot of horror movies from Nigeria, which is their Nollywood is one of their production companies, Nollywood. There's also Ugandan horror films, and there is another one. I forget what the third one is called, but YouTube is where you have to find them because unfortunately, they don't list their movies on IMDb. Sandy says, Bogeyville, is this movie a horror or a comedy? Let's see what it's listed as, because it looks like it could be both. Let me see what they have listed themselves as. Bring up Bogeyville. Bogeyville. They did not list as comedy. It's listed as vampire horror and horror, but not as a comedy. Mickey Latte says that bathroom stall scene was definitely a choice. Yes. That made me more interested because I like when movies take chances and do something different. All right, let's get back to this this next vampire movie. The vampire lore gets reimagined in Daydreamers, a groundbreaking genre bender set in modern-day Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. The Vietnamese film is now available on VOD, and which I did look it up where it's available, and it says Prime Video for $3.99, Fandango $3.99, and Apple TV for $4.99. The film follows Not, a young vampire raised in the secluded river community that suppresses its thirst for human blood in hopes of regaining lost humanity. When his long-lost brother Marco returns with stories of vampires thriving in the big city amongst humans, Not is drawn into a dangerous world that tests his loyalty, beliefs, and survival. His fate takes a turn when he meets Ha, a rebellious schoolgirl who uncovers a secret, forcing Not to break vampire law in an act of forbidden protection. As Trio, a ruthless vampire queen, orders their execution, the city erupts into chaos, setting the stage for a final battle between brothers, one embracing the monster within and the other fighting to hold on to his last shred of humanity. Tren Ngoc Vong is playing Not, Thuan Nguyen is playing Marco, Ben Tao is playing Ha, and Chi Pu is playing Trio. They star in this film that blends horror and fantasy, written and directed by Timothy Lin Bui. And we do have a little bit of a trailer for Daydreamers. Already, I like the lighting of this. That looks gorgeous. Let's see what we got coming from Vietnam. The teeth look great. That looks great. A very old school vampire. Like Hammer, House of Horror vampire.
Đồng loại của mình, tụi nó đang sống ngoài kia. Tự do với loài người.
Look at that. Okay, hold on. Let me go back.
Giờ thì tới lượt mày. Thực hiện những khát vọng của tụi nó. Giờ thì tới lượt mày.
Oh, it didn't go back far enough.
Tự do với loài người.
Look at the colors. This is what I like to see on the screen. You see how you have the city lights in the back, and they're largely blue. Then you have his jacket. Then you have her hair in the foreground. This is what I want to see. I have a color television. I want to see color. This is what I'm talking about. Yes. I feel like this right here would have worked better if the white hair went all the way down to the scalp. The part where it's grown out, I think it takes away from the effect of the streak. But it happens, you know, when you do that hairstyle, it happens. It grows out.
Thực hiện những khát vọng của tụi nó. Giờ thì tới lượt mày.
Oh, I know you don't.
Giờ cũng muốn mời em một ly để chuộc tội mà.
Bị vô cảm hả?
Did you see Homegirl's haircut? Look at this here. I didn't rewind. That's okay. It wasn't that important. It was just a really cool haircut.
Hạ không nên ở đây.
Tại sao?
Vì Hạ ở ngoài kia không phải chỉ có mình vậy.
Trăm năm quyền lực, trăm năm vĩnh hằng. Điều gì đã bảo vệ chúng ta? Và điều luật nói gì?
Có nên săn mình.
Nghĩ sao về nhà để nhận lại? Ta là người mặt trời và một ngày ta sẽ trở lại làm người.
I noticed that they're calling them it's called Daydreamers, and when you think about it in the construct of being a vampire, yeah, you would be dreaming of the daytime. And one day we will be humans. That's cool. I like her braids. This is a cool look with the bangs.
Ôi! Mọi người đều biết ngày này cũng sẽ tới.
They dissipate like the vampires in Blade. I like that. I've always liked that in Blade, where the vampires, when they're destroyed, they dissipate into this like sparkly ash. I think that's cool.
Loài người sợ chúng ta.
Look at that dress. I'm sorry. I like fashion. Look at this. Give me fashion. Especially since if you're a vampire, you are supposed to be a diva. Like you are supposed. I support this. Shout out to Katrina in Vamp, the ultimate vampire diva.
Họ muốn chúng ta phải chết.
Even that. Let me see that with the green lighting. Like this, you really have to think, oh, let me put the green light, the green gel at the base of the frame and have it shine up to get this particular look. And then have the blue light over here and the red. It takes effort. And I like that. It's pleasing to my eye. Hey, Amy's in the house. She says, hi, Doc. Sandy says, I like their laws. Leave no witnesses. Yes. All right, let's finish this up. I'm excited about this one. This one looks really good.
Cậu sao? Giết, rồi uống tới giọt cuối cùng.
What do you guys think? I also like that the trailer felt like it was showing you a lot, but I don't recall them showing a single kill, which is good. It showed you enough to make you think, oh, you know what? Let me see this movie. But they didn't spoil their own film. I like that. I really enjoy that. Like I said, that is on VOD right now. It is on Prime Video, Fandango, and Apple TV. Let me check a secondary source. That's according to my Roku. Let me check a secondary source to see if it's available. Dreamers. Okay, this movie actually initially came out in 2023, but it was not available in the States until just now. Yeah, it's not even showing availability. So yeah, I have to go with what I have on my Roku. All right, let's see what's next. Of course, I think you guys know already, but in case you don't know, one of this year's massive success stories has been Ryan Coogler's vampire epic Sinners, which sank its teeth into $350 million at the worldwide box office. That makes it one of the top 20 highest grossing horror movies of all time, and Sinners is now available at home. For the first time ever, you can watch Sinners at home right now. You can rent the film on digital outlets, including Amazon, for $19.99 or digitally purchase the movie for $24.99. Written and directed by Ryan Coogler, who did Black Panther and Creed, the critically acclaimed vampire horror film stars Michael B. Jordan in dual roles as twin brothers Smoke and Stack. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, they return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Haley Steinfeld from Bumblebee, Jack O'Connell from Eden Lake, Wunmi Mosako from Loki, Jamie Lawson from The Batman, Omar Benson Miller, from CSI Miami, and Delroy Lindo from The Five Bloods round out the incredible ensemble cast of Ryan Coogler's Sinners. If you have not seen Sinners yet, I'm telling you, watch it. It is worth the watch. It is an amazing movie. Last month I did over 2.5 hour. No, it wasn't 2.5. I think we stopped just under 2.5. It's over 2 hour stream that we did breaking down Sinners and how amazing of a film it is. It's not just a vampire film. It is, how do I describe it? It's a thriller. It's a drama. It has comedic moments. And it's set in the American South, and it does show realistically what it was like without it becoming Black trauma porn. That's what I really appreciate about it. You can make something that is historically accurate to the Black American experience without it being trauma porn. So I have to give it up for that. Like it's really, really good. Know what it kind of reminds you of? If you watch Boardwalk Empire and you like Boardwalk Empire, it has a little bit of elements of feeling like a Boardwalk Empire. It absolutely has some elements from Dusk Till Dawn. It has some elements from John Carpenter's The Thing, believe it or not, very much. What else? Trying to think of anything else that I took inspiration from. Because Ryan Coogler definitely showed that he is a horror movie fan and a student of horror movies as well. So it's definitely one of those type of films. And give it up for the cast. The cast was amazing. Michael B. Jordan did an excellent job portraying two characters at the same time. I put him on the same level as Lupita when she was in Us. Like, these are roles that if they were not in horror films, they would absolutely be nominated for Oscars. Along with what's Homegirl's name from Hereditary? She should have been nominated. She was amazing. The actress from Babadook also, if it was not a horror movie, would have been Oscar worthy or Oscar rewarded in some type of way. But I digress. Let me see what's going on in the comments. I got to go back up here. Okay. Tony Man says, vampires shouldn't be stylish or romantic. Give me 30 Days a Night vampires all day, every day. That's what we got earlier with that Bogeyville. Bogeyville is very much from 30 Days a Night type of vampires. Dusk Till Dawn type of vampires. I don't mind a romantic vampire if it's done with some panache. I couldn't get into Twilight at all, but I did get into True Blood. So, I mean, there's my barometer. Doc says, Amy, I think you'll like this stream. It's my favorite daytime stream. Well, by day, I mean not nocturnal, LOL. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's high praise. Sandy says, everything looks a little too polished. I like vampires to be more rough and evil. See, you're with Tony Man with the 30 Days a Night type vampires. Yeah. I like both types. Fomiki Latte says, the fights look good. Mm-hmm. Amy says, LOL, okay, Doc, that's cool. I love the new movie Sinners. Thank you for another thumbs up vote for Sinners, because I've been trying to tell everybody how great it is. Sandy says Sinners was great. I plan to go see it in the theaters again just for the experience. Oh yes. It was great. Especially I forgot to tell you about the music. If anyone's watching this and they're really into music, another thing that you will enjoy in Sinners. Tom says, Tony Man, could you create a virtual Studio 54 and present old music in that setting? Interesting question. Sandy Absolute says, I heard so much about Loki. Didn't know Woonmi was in it. Yeah, she plays one of the officers in the, I guess they're like they're like a government agency that oversees like time travel kind of thing. But she's great in that, and she was also great in Lovecraft Country. I think that's when she looked probably her most beautiful, sexiest self was in Lovecraft Country. She was really gorgeous. I mean, she truly is. Anyways, if you looked her up and look for her fashion editorial spreads, she's a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. Tom Baker says, went to see it 2 weeks ago for it's the best thriller in years. Yes. And Amy says, I love Twilight and True Blood, Buffy the show and the movie, LOL, Blade, you name it. I like Buffy the movie more so than the TV show, but I think that's just because of my age. Because when the movie Buffy came out, I was still in high school or coming out of high school. Whereas when the TV show premiered, I think I was either firmly in college or just coming out of college, so I wasn't really the target audience. Whereas True Blood was a little bit more adult themed than teen themed. Let's see what else is on the horizon that just came out. We did talk about this earlier, but I'm going to talk about it again. Should I play the trailer for Sinners? I think everyone in this room has seen Sinners, so I don't even think I need to play the trailer. But let's talk more about Predator Killer of Killers, which again, I will be back here live 5:30 tomorrow to talk about Predator Killer of Killers. The Hunt has begun, an animated anthology movie that features 3 brand new original Predator stories. Predator Killer of Killers is now streaming exclusively on Hulu. The original animated action adventure film follows 3 of the fiercest warriors in human history: a Viking raider guiding her young son on a bloody quest for revenge, a ninja in feudal Japan who turns against his samurai brother in a brutal battle for succession, and a World War II pilot who takes to the sky to investigate an otherworldly threat to the Allied cause. While all these warriors are killers in their own right, they are merely prey for their new opponent, the ultimate killer of killers. Yes, we're talking about those lovable predators. The film is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, with Josh Wasung from animation company The Third Floor serving as co-director. The film stars Lindsay Levanche, Louis Ozawa. Names. Oh my God. Let me get this. Let me rewind. The film stars Lindsay Levanche, Louis Ozawa, Rick Gonzalez, and Michael Bain, and is written by Micho Robert Rutare, and story by Trachtenberg and Rutare, based on characters created by Jem Thomas and John Thomas. And there is a trailer here. I will say this, it took me a moment to get used to the animation style because it kind of reminds me of cutscenes from video games, but the storytelling is so good. I'm the type of person that when it comes to like watching things on Hulu, I tend to double screen where I'll scroll on my phone while watching. When Killer of Killers was on, I couldn't look at my phone. I couldn't tear myself away from the screen. Even though this is not my favorite style of animation, the storytelling was so good and the action sequences were so good. It held my attention. So let's get into the trailer.
My son, tell me why we fight.
Because our enemy still lives.
You all have traveled far
Mosquito.
and miss the warmth of home. But tonight, think of only one thing. Killing the monster.
You're not hearing me. There's something else up in the sky, and it's not human.
I pray you bloody your spear tonight. You are ready now. There's only one way to kill it. We must fight together.
Here we go. What happens if we survive?
Now, what do you guys think of that? Like I said, the animation reminded me of cutscenes from video games, so it took me a moment to get used to that style of animation, but the storytelling was really good. It is an anthology, so it tells 3 separate stories, but the 3 stories do converge at the end. The 3 stories do take place in 3 different time periods, and when they converge, there's a reason for how they're able to converge in the end, which I won't spoil. But one of them, as said earlier in the article, takes place with the Vikings during that time period. Another one takes place during feudal Japan. And the third takes place during World War II in the United States, specifically in Florida, interesting enough. Well, partially in Florida and partially in Europe, because it's during World War II. Let's see here. Amy says the movie was pretty cool. Yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Amy says it had Luke Perry in it. Yes, he was in it. Sandy says, yes, Wound Me is beautiful. Love her. Doc Kaiju says, OMG, Lady Shasha, you're older than me. You must be drinking better blood than I have access to. Thank you. Doc says, I like the Twilight books. I listened to them while playing World of Warcraft like 15 years ago. I have not read the books, so I can't comment on those. I did read 3 of the books that True Blood is based off of. And I kind of enjoyed those. They were fun. As I can recall, it's been, about the same amount of time, 15 years. Tony Man says, those names are kicking your ass. Yes, they are. Names are kicking my ass today, and I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. Doc Kaiju says, I love both versions of Buffy, but preferred the show. Amy says, reading a book is just not the same as Audible, in my opinion. However, I have an Audible account I use, LOL. I would say it depends. I think it depends on the narrator, because there's, some narrators are better than other narrators, I think. Tom Baker says, can't be worse than The Predator. Oh my gosh, let's not talk about that. We will talk about that tomorrow. It was horrible. Oh my God, that was the worst Predator, is The Predator. The Predator is so bad, it made Alien vs. Predator Requiem look like a good movie. Like, in retrospect, it was like, maybe we were too hard on Alien vs. Predator Requiem, because The Predator is horrible. Doc says, yes, unbelievable. Oh, at Doc, unbelievable. Hold on. She did drink True Blood. She still hasn't. I do. You know what? You're right. Where's my bottle of True Blood? Where did I put it? I can't find it. I know I have it. I don't know where I put my bottle of True Blood. Oh, there it is. No, I had it somewhere. There it is. True Blood. I got this at the, there used to be an HBO store that was near or at Times Square. Don't know if it's still there. I've had this bottle for almost 20 years. Isn't that crazy? I definitely have had it since 2003 or 2004. It's a long time to have a bottle. Full Minky Latte says, I like the animation style. It reminds me of a more polished claymation look. Good point. Good point. Tom Baker says, Lady Shasha's forever young. Thank you. Sandy says, I used to watch Predator on VCR when I was a kid. They were stealthy, deadly, and horrifying. I haven't been scared of them since Predators. Yeah, the same. I come to think of it, I don't think I've ever seen a Predator movie in the movie theater. The first time we saw Predator, my father rented it from probably Blockbuster or maybe a mom and pop video store. And when he rented it, I think he was thinking he was getting another like Missing in Action, Commando, Rambo type movie. I remember not even wanting to watch it at first because I thought it was going to be, it's going to be another Mission Impossible movie. But it turned out to be so much better than I could have ever expected. And then the same thing with Predator 2. I didn't get to see that in the movie theater. We rented it from Blockbuster and was really surprised because, again, I was like, Arnold's not in it. It's not even going to be good. But it ended up being really, really good. And Danny Glover really grew on me as an action character. And I was surprised he didn't do much more for action, but I do understand that age was prohibitive. Like, he was like 40 or 45 when he did that. So, yeah. Predator 2, definitely really, really good. At least in my opinion. Tony Man says, you also have the t-shirt from the restaurant in True Blood. I do have a t-shirt. I should bring back my t-shirt Tuesdays where I show off my t-shirts. I haven't done that in a while. Sandy says the Predator was a nightmare. I hated what they've been doing to the Predators franchise, and everybody loves praise. I didn't. It felt so Disney. I did like Prey, but I felt like how do I describe it? I liked Prey, but I feel like the setup at the beginning I didn't love because they were going with this narrative of her dealing with, sexism from her community, but largely Native Americans are not like that. There isn't an overwhelming sexism. There's always been women warriors. There were women chieftains before they allowed women to be even in parliament in Europe. So that angle, it felt like a Native American story, not written by Native Americans. So that on that part, I didn't like that part of it, but I did like how she used her intelligence, her knowledge of medicine, and her planning to defeat the Predator, because clearly there wasn't a physical match. Like, she couldn't physically match the Predator, so she had to use more brain power, which I really like that. I like stories that are written that way. Doc says, I think I'm the only person I know besides my brother who enjoyed Alien vs. Predator Requiem. The movie was kind of blasphemous to the rest of Alien films, but I still enjoyed it. Looking back on it, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, especially after The Predator. I do enjoy the first Alien versus Predator over Alien versus Predator Requiem. JJ says King Willie was great in Predator 2. Yes, he was. Even with his dreadlock wig. That's like it was a terrible dreadlock wig, but I forgive it because it was in a Predator movie. Doc says, is the Predator the one with the big nose guy trying to play a commando on another world? That was awful. No, that was Predators. That was Predators plural. That was with Adrian Brody. I have not seen Predators, but I'm going to watch it tomorrow. That's the only one I skipped. And I skipped it and I haven't watched it, so I'm going to watch it tomorrow before we do our Predator stream, because I've seen all the other Predator movies except for that one. That was awful and boring. Oh, I'm not looking forward to it being boring, but I have to watch it as a completionist. Tony Man says, I was going to talk about Predator 2, but everyone will have to wait until tomorrow at 5. Yes. All right, what else do we have coming out? Okay, the ocean unleashes a new predator with dangerous animals. This one also came out this past Friday. The new horror movie from director Sean Byrne, who did The Loved Ones and The Devil's Candy, is now playing in theaters. That makes me a little bit more interested in it. When I saw the trailer for this originally, I was not super interested in it because I almost feel like the shark thing has been overplayed. But knowing that it's the director of The Loved Ones and Devil's Candy, that might make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, it's now playing in theaters. In the summer horror movie Trapped on a Killer's Boat with hungry sharks circling below, a surfer must outwit a predator more dangerous than the ocean itself. Will she escape or become the next offering to the deep? Sean Byrne returns with his third visceral feature. Hassie Harrison from Yellowstone, Jai Courtney from the Suicide Squad, and Josh Houston, Heartbreak High, lead the cast of Sean Byrne's shark movie Dangerous Animals. Nick Leppard wrote the screenplay for Dangerous Animals, which comes courtesy of Brouhaha Entertainment, LD Entertainment, Oddfellows Entertainment, and Range Media Partners. Okay, Sandy says, I know I'm going off topic, but speaking about t-shirts, I watched one of your videos and you had a Gem and a Holograms t-shirt. Loved that shirt. That was my favorite cartoon growing up. Mine too. I actually got that t-shirt. Oh my gosh, it's got to be 20 years ago. At a store in it's a mall in New York. I don't know what was it, not Nassau Mall, Nabuck Mall. Tony Man, what was the name of that big mall in New York we used to go to with the 5 or 6 floors? I'm trying to remember the name of the shop that had the t-shirt in it. I can't recall the name of the shop, but I got in the mall 20 years ago. Double Feature is here. They say, hey, Josh, I love Devil's Candy. Yes, this is. By the way, Double Feature has a live stream this Sunday where they're going to be talking about 2 movies. One of them I've seen. The other one I want to watch in time for their live stream. The first one is Hush. And the second one is a South Korean horror film. Let me see. I had recently looked it up. Let me see if it's still in my history. Midnight is the other film. They pair great together. So I want to watch Midnight before Double Feature podcast live stream on Sunday, because I've seen Hush and Midnight has a similar premise. So I want to check that out. So check them out on Sunday evening. Double Feature, let me know if I'm saying the wrong date and post time for your live stream. I want to say it's Sunday at 7 p.m., but in case I'm mistaken, post the correct time in the chat. Tony Man says, I started watching Dangerous Animals. The first kill was unexpected. Okay. Cool. All right, let me see what else they're saying here. Oh, that's right. I read the rest. We're going to get to the trailer. That's what we're going to do. So here's the trailer. Let me take this down. It says Palisades Mall, just over the Tappan Zee Bridge. You also had a strawberry shortcake hoodie. Yeah, I did, and it shrank in the wash. So the sleeves were like super short, and I ended up donating it to Goodwill. But yeah, that was a cool hoodie, that strawberry shortcake one. I didn't know that was called the Palisades Mall. Why do I think of it as, was it in a town that started with an N? Because I kept on thinking that it's in a town that starts with an N. But let's get into this Dangerous Animals trailer. If you have seen it.
Oh my God, I can't believe I let you talk me into this.
quick question. Is this an American release or is this a foreign film? Because it feels foreign film. Dangerous Animals. There it is. Let's see what country produced this. Just out of curiosity, I like to know. I'm nosy like that. It's a co-production between Australia, United States, and Canada.
It'll be a great experience.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, crew.
This is something
we need to take care of.
This is something I would never do. Like, what is the urge to swim with the sharks? Why?
Promise you it'll help. Close your eyes. A big, deep inhale. And out. And in.
Ooh.
Welcome aboard.
Was that the first kill? Did they just show the first kill in the trailer? Dear Hollywood, stop spoiling horror movies. You can do horror movies without trailers without spoiling them. I promise you can. Don't Future says, no, that's the right date. Shasha, looking forward to hearing your thoughts if you check out Midnight. Yes, definitely. Tony says, it's Australian and the mall was in Nyack. I knew it started with an N. The mall was in West Nyack, New York. Thank you. All right, let's hope this doesn't spoil the rest of the movie. I'm at 30 seconds in on this trailer. I'm thinking not to play the rest of the trailer because if you're going to spoil it within the first 30 seconds, you probably spoil the movie. So I'm not going to play any more of the Dangerous Animals trailer. We get the gist. It looks interesting enough. I'm probably will check it out. Let's see what else is out. Okay, A Campfire Story becomes a living nightmare in the summer camp horror movie Marshmallow, which is now available on VOD outlets at home after theater release back in April. Let's see where it's available. See if it's listed here, Marshmallow. There it is. Okay, this is only showing Prime Video. Let me go check a secondary. So let's check Roku and see what it says on the Roku. Let's search for Marshmallow. There it is. That's a great poster. Okay, 3 other ways to watch. Okay, so it's on Prime Video for $4.99, Plex for $5.99, Fandango for $5.99, and Apple TV for $6.99. Apple TV, why do you routinely charge $1 to $2 more than everywhere else? Like, I don't get that. Okay, let me go back to more news about Marshmallow. All right. At a secluded summer camp, Morgan, a shy and introverted 12-year-old, is thrust into a living nightmare when a legendary campfire tale becomes real. As a mysterious figure begins stalking the camp, Morgan and his newfound friends must embark on a perilous journey that will force them to confront their deepest fears and question the very nature of their existence. Hugh Lawrence from Beautiful Boy, Kai Ketch from Dear Santa, Corbin Burnson from The Dentist, and Max Malice from New Amsterdam star in Marshmallow. Daniel Del Purgatorio makes his future directorial debut from a script by Andy Greskoviak. Yeah, and Andy Greskoviak from Black Friday, Robert Kurtzman, Fear Street and Black Friday, and Marcy King from Gerald's Game, Black Friday, and The Curse handled the film's special effects. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds pretty good. There is not a trailer yet for Marshall, is there? Oh, maybe I scrolled past it. Underneath, yeah, okay. Scroll down. Here's the trailer for Marshmallow. Okay, Double Feature says, I want to see Dangerous Animals. Yes, these trailers are spoiling everything. Double Feature says, it is the Palisades Mall. Sandy Absolute says, that's why you never catch me in the ocean alone. I know it was a couple, but I'm going to need more people with me. Exactly. Tony Man says, yes, Double Feature. We used to live in Rye and drove there when we didn't feel like going to the city. Sandy says, he killed her man and instantly she was all alone. Tom says swimming with sharks is as stupid as visiting an active volcano. Yeah. Double Feature says Kira and I are from New Jersey, so we used to go to the mall a lot. There was another one when I used to visit my cousins in Jersey, we used to go to the Cherry Hill Mall because let me think. One of my cousins was staying in Philadelphia. The other one was staying in, was it Mount Laurel? I think she was in Mount Laurel. I want to say she was in Mount Laurel, but I might be mistaken. But I know we went to the Cherry Hill Mall. Tony says that mall was dope. Tony says I once tried to move to Union City on JFK Drive. Let's check out the trailer for Marshmallow. Already, I'm having positive thoughts because the trailer is only 1 minute and 33 seconds, whereas most of the other trailers we've watched today have been well over 2 minutes to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So already having a shorter trailer is better.
I hear that you are going to summer camp.
I'm being sent to summer camp.
Oh, that's a real little kid. Like, that's a real that's a real 12-year-old little kid. Well, maybe he's 14, but he looks 12.
Counselors if you have any trouble.
Yeah, that's
sleeping,
a little
they
kid.
Can get in touch with them.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Hey, how are y'all? Welcome.
Okay, now, how do you guys feel about children being killed? I'm of two minds with it. It's horror movies, and it's been done before. Children in danger, children with Clown. If you guys remember Clown, he was messing up little kids in that movie. And I mean, it is just a movie. Just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Doc says, I want a vacation at the Castle Bravo site. What is the Castle Bravo site? I'm not familiar. Double Future says, yes, Mount Laurel near Camden. We know that mall. Oh, and then Doc says, just kidding. Tony says, Trenton, we stayed in Mount Laurel at the hotel. Yeah, no. You're thinking of where Terry was at. I'm talking about where Erica was at. Erica wasn't in Trenton. She was. There's a town that was near. It was either Mount Laurel or the next town over. I can't recall the town that Erica was in. It was not Trenton. It was like a suburban town. Dolphin says, yeah, a short trailer is all you need. Yep, I agree. Doc says they show too much in trailers nowadays. I agree. Double Future says you can take the children out. Still always shock when they do it. Doc says I'm fine with it. It's just a movie. Exactly. Doc says Castle Bravo was a nuclear test that had casualties. Oh, I didn't know that. So that would be like visiting Chernobyl, which wasn't. I don't know whether that was a test or whether that was I'm trying to remember. I think it was a accidental meltdown, nuclear meltdown. I don't think it was a test on purpose. I hope not. Okay, let's get back into this.
I know you don't understand this, but you need this. And I swear it's going to be the best summer ever.
First year here?
Yeah?
I can tell.
Your file mentioned that you have nightmares sometimes.
Oh, wow. It's giving Nightmare on Elm Street.
There used to be cabins all throughout these woods. One of the...
I'm not in love with the desaturated color. I know you want it to have a feel of an 80s movie, but those movies were colorful. You only see a desaturated look because the film has aged. Don't do that.
These cabins belonged to a doctor. We had this huge cellar in the basement. If you stay up too late, or if you leave your cabin past curfew, you just might see the doctor.
I saw him.
He's not real, Morgan. It's just a dumb story.
He's the doctor. He's real.
I'm wishy-washy on this one. Let me check something here. I looked on. Oh, go back. Okay, this is not rated. Because I wanted to know whether it was PG-13 or R, because I am of the opinion that slasher movies should be rated R always. It's not rated. It is listed as a horror sci-fi. So I am interested to see what is the sci-fi element in this. That would be very interesting. And also why the connection with water. This is a really strong connection with water. Doc Kaiju says Castle Bravo is the origin of Godzilla in at least 2 timelines. Oh, interesting. I do know that a lot of the Godzilla movies have a subtext about radiation from the nuclear bombs. Tom Baker says, I like the colors in that trailer. Okay. Tony Man says, I don't mind a child. Terrifier 3 went there. It was awesome. Tom Baker says, yes, saturated colors, but it's done in good taste. Yes. Doc Kaiju says, look, I am a villain in a movie. Dolphy says, not sure about that one. Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel very unsure. This trailer doesn't make me feel, at first I felt a little bit positive towards it because of the dream element making it feel like a Nightmare on Elm Street. But then the more they showed the slasher, it became less and less interesting because I don't love the design of the slasher's outfit. But now that I'm learning that it says sci-fi horror, there might be a science fiction reasoning for why he's dressed the way he's dressed. I'm interested. It's interesting that it's also not rated. So we will see. Double Feature says we'll still probably check it out. Doc Kaiser says, I think it might be a family horror movie. Yeah, it's giving PG-13, and I feel like there's no purpose in making a PG-13 slasher movie. If this is not a slasher movie, you should not market it as such, because it's giving, when you put summer camp and you have the story, it makes people automatically expect a slasher movie. You don't want people to go in expecting one thing unless you really have something superior to give them. And I say that because that happened with Barbarian. You go in expecting one thing, it's not what you expect, but it's better than what you expect. So hopefully Marshmallow is like that, where it gives us something better than what we expected. Tom Baker says, I think it will be good. And Doc Kaiju says, I'll check it out. All right, let's check out our next. Oh, did I say where this was playing? Again, it's on Prime Video for $4.99, Plex for $5.99, Fandango for $5.99, and Apple TV from $6.99. On to the next thing. Tom says, sometimes they make a confusing trailer, but it's a good movie. This is true. Okay, next up we have director Ashley Cahill from Random Acts of Violence takes us back to 1863 with a Civil War horror movie, Resurrection Road, which is now available on VOD outlets. An elite squad of 6 black soldiers led by ex-slave Barabbas is sent on a suicide mission to infiltrate a heavily guarded Confederate fort hidden deep in the Arkansas wilderness. Teams have been sent before, but no one has ever made it out alive. Their objective, destroy the fort's long-range guns and shift the tide of the war. But as they venture further into enemy territory, the mission takes a chilling turn. The soldiers uncover a dark and sinister secret buried within the heart of the forest, one that will test their courage, loyalty, and will to survive like never before. Malcolm Goodwin, Furley Mack, Triana Brown, Okia Eme Akwari, Randall J. Bacon, and Jeff Daniel Phillips star in Resurrection Road, which also features Michael Madsen. And there is a trailer for Resurrection Road. Doc says, I know what you mean. For example, Nope was a kaiju giant monster film, but it wasn't advertised as such, so almost no kaiju fans know about this film. Agreed. It was also very much science fiction, but they advertised it to a strictly horror audience. I would say sci-fi adventure. It's very sci-fi adventure. It made me feel like when I was a child watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's the feeling that Nope gave me watching it. And perfect example of advertising to the wrong audience. Doc Kaiju says, I know they were trying to make it a mystery at first, but they missed their market. Yes. Let's check out the trailer for Resurrection Road.
What do you know about Fort Defiance?
Just things I heard.
Hold on, let me preview that again. Okay, they didn't really show it. It just kind of like a
We want
Saban
you to lead an
Films.
expedition.
That's interesting that it says Saban Films. Is that the same Saban that used to produce the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? I think they were produced by Saban Entertainment. My mouth should work today. Okay, here we go.
And into the fort and destroy everything in there.
Why me? Because you know the area.
You and your team, you could walk out of here with the promise of freedom, or you and your men could be put 6 feet under.
See, I like the color grading on this because the forest actually looks green and not brown. Meanwhile, their coats are blue. I don't know. I'm a stickler for colors. It's still slightly desaturated, but not to the point where it's ugly.
Ain't nothing out here.
She was covered in blood. Did you see how much blood that lady had on her? Right after they showed this lady.
What happened here?
The devil. Look at that. That's a lot of blood. I love the commitment to it.
Ain't nothing out here. I think it was a wolf.
No wolf did this.
A werewolf movie set in the Civil War era? I'm here for that. We don't get nearly enough werewolf movies, and I think it's because they take a lot of effort to make a werewolf movie. Let's see.
I heard about this fort. They say no one ever go in and come out alive.
This ain't no regular fort.
We should go before they find us.
They already have.
And you come here to kill me?
I came here to send your ass to hell.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Killing folks is thirsty business.
Now that looks pretty good. I think I would check it out. I hope it's werewolves. I hope it's werewolves and not well, I mean, it would be cool if it's vampires too, but I just feel like we don't get enough werewolves. Okay, let me go back up to the chat. All right, Tom Baker says Dead Birds from 2005 was also a horror movie set in Civil War. Yes, I do remember that. I do remember Dead Birds, and there's also one that's not necessarily Civil War, but the Old West. I think it was called The Wind. I want to say it was called The Wind. Doc Kaiju says, yeah, same Saban. Double Future says that was a lot of blood. Doc says, Harris Saban is kind of an evil person, a hypocrite, and has been involved in a lot of foreign interference in U.S. politics. I still love Power Rangers and Saban shows. Interesting. I hadn't heard anything about like his life outside of the TV productions. Double Feature Podcast says, I hope it's a werewolf movie. I do too. Doc says, oh yes, werewolf film and Civil War, take my money. Dell on Movies is in the house. They say, what's up? What's up, Dell? Double Feature Podcast says, this one has me intrigued. Me too. Everybody's saying hello to each other. And Doc says, I think I like Dead Birds, if I remember correctly. Okay, This one I will just quickly I'll give you a quick read of this, but I don't think I would recommend it just based on what The Weeknd did with what was that HBO series that he did that was absolutely horrible? Oh my god, what was that called? I can't even remember the name of it. My sister called it Johnny Depp's daughter's nipples because that's like all it was her showing her nipples in every episode, and The Weeknd trying to act hard, and it's like, dude, you're not hard at all. You don't look hard. You can't portray hard. You're not a great actor. No. So I'll just quickly say that this movie is out. The Weeknd, Abel Tesfaye, I'm going with Tesfaye, stars as an insomniac faced with a stranger who begins to unravel to unravel the very core of his existence in Lionsgate's Hurry Up Tomorrow, now available on digital. Directed by Trey Edward Schultz, Waves and It Comes at Night. The film stars Abel Tesfaye, aka The Weeknd, alongside Jenny Ortega and Barry Keoghan. While Abel Tesfaye has acted in recent projects including Uncut Gems and the HBO series The Idol. That was the name of it. It was called The Idol, and he wrecked it. For details, read the Rolling Stone breakdown of what The Idol actually was. When was it? Amy Simonson, I think, was the director, and then she left the project because Abel said it was too female centric, even though the main character is a woman and it's from a woman's perspective, a woman's point of view. Why would it not be female centric? Like, duh. Anyways, he won because he was one of the producers alongside that Nepo baby that claims to have created what is it called? Euphoria, even though Euphoria is a remake of an Israeli TV show. How you create something that's already a remake? Let me correct. Instead of that Nepo baby, that lying Nepo baby, who also stole a lot of his art direction from this woman cinematographer. He literally brought her on set to advise and then stole everything from her and left her out of the credits of Euphoria. That's why he will never get credit for even the look of Euphoria. But I digress from my rant about that dude and Abel taking the project from Amy Simonson because they decided that it was too female centric. So now he's got this movie called I can't remember the name of it. I just said it. Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is just him moping around and being a so-called tortured artist with very little storyline until I'm about to spoil this movie. I hope you don't mind. I'm about to spoil Hurry Up Tomorrow. He mopes around and says he has psychosomatically lost his voice and he may not be able to perform anymore until Jenny Ortega ties him up in a bed, kind of like Kathy Bates in Misery, and pours gasoline on him. And then she dances around the room playing his music, explaining to him how deep and thought-provoking and amazing his pop songs are until he starts singing, and then she decides not to set him on fire. The end. Like, that could have been an 8-minute short film. It's not worth our time. Abel cannot act. I don't recommend it. The end. Okay, let's let's back to where it was. Yeah, the twins said, I think it was The Idol. Delon Movie says The Weeknd should stick to making aggressively mid movie music. Yeah, I love that, aggressively mid, because it's not bad music. I'll never say his music is bad, but it's not amazing either. It's just there. It's great background music to play while you're driving. Zombie Whispers here. They say hi. Doc Kaiju says hi, Zombie Whisperer. And Tony Man says, don't besmirk that show, The Idol. I loved it. Did you really? Wait, I loved it. I'm sure you remember my description. Johnny Depp's big nipple daughter who loved to get slapped in the ass with a brush. Yeah, that's basically The Idol. Yeah. All right, I need to wrap things up because I got to get out of here in like 15 minutes. I'll play, I guess, a snippet of the trailer, like 15 seconds. You'll get the gist. Well, that's when she burnt up some other house before she went to go meet The Weeknd.
Who else has to pay for my sins?
This director just wanted to collect a check. Look at that. That's him for 90% of the movie. Just him staring into the camera looking sad. He's so sad. She can feel his sadness. Get it? It's so deep.
We met before.
You know what? It's a full-length music video. It's a feature-length music video. That's what it is. All right, on to the next thing. Toyman says, and yes, I enjoyed it. Did you really enjoy it, or did you just enjoy the nudity? Okay, so it says the true story that inspired a horror classic The Exorcist comes to the screen in The Ritual from XYZ Films, and the film is now playing exclusively in movie theaters this weekend. Al Pacino and Dan Stevens star in The Ritual. Well, I'm speaking of this past weekend, but it'll still be in the theaters this weekend. Sanctioned by the church, condemned by Satan. Based on the true story of the possession of Emma Schmidt, David Middell directs from a script he co-wrote with Enrico Natale. Two priests, one questioning his faith and one reckoning with a troubled past. Well, doesn't that sound familiar? Must put aside their differences to save a possessed young woman through a difficult and dangerous series of exorcisms. The film is said to be an authentic portrayal of the Schmidt case, which remains the most thoroughly documented exorcism in American history. Ashley Greene from Twilight, Abigail Cohen from Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and Patricia Heaton, Everybody Loves Raymond, round out the cast of Middell's The Ritual. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. Dolphy says, yes, it's giving music video. Zombie Whisper says, is this the movie with The Weeknd? I heard it was pulled from theaters quick. Yes, one weekend and gone. It flopped hard. It went viral. I should show that scene. If I have time, I'll show that scene of The Weeknd's acting. It's so bad. So he wanted to be wrapped in a sheet and burned with gasoline, just like his song Gasoline? Probably. No, I might actually be able to find that clip. Let me go open my TikTok and see if I can find the clip of The Weeknd acting. The Weeknd. Oh, it's they actually named it The Weeknd. Shut up. Let me put up. Okay, this is him.
Oh, shut up. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? I have to go right now. I'm getting cold.
I just realized you guys might not be able to hear that. I might have to pull it up on my computer. Okay. I'll try to do it at the end of the show. I'll try to do it at the very end of the show. Let me get through this. And then you'll be able to hear it. Let's check out a little bit of the trailer for The Ritual, and then we'll come back to that later. Alrighty, desaturated color does not equal scary. Sepia does not equal scary. If you look at The Exorcist, yes, there were certain warm tones, but that was the actual set decor. That was actual color of the walls. That was not just put a filter over everything and make it sepia. Or sepia. I don't know if it's sepia or sepia. I read it. I didn't hear anyone say it.
Brethren, put on the armor of God, that you might withstand the devil.
This is a very troubled woman, hissing at the side of the church.
The woman's parish wishes to attempt a solemn sacrament.
You mean an exorcism? You would like me to perform it?
No, some poor other soul already has that distinction.
We are the Lord's army in this.
I don't feel like this is going to be good. I don't know. I can't explain why I don't feel like it's going to be good. I just don't feel like it's going to be good. I'm sorry. What do you guys think so far? Do you think this is going to be good? I just have such a low, what's the word I'm looking for? Low expectations for exorcism movies, even with Al Pacino. And he is even with Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens has done some pretty good work. I don't know. Tom Baker says they have Al Pacino, but maybe not a good story. Dell says, weird choice to actively try to outdo The Exorcist by using the same source material. Yeah, like you can't. That movie is iconic. You have to go in a different direction. You have to tell the story differently because you cannot compete with The Exorcist. Sandy says, I love exorcism movies, but none have been any good. The Taking of Deborah Logan was pretty good. I did like that one. I did like The Taking of Deborah Logan. I have to agree. And The Omen 2021. Also the Possession movie with the guy who plays Negan. Which movie was that one? I'm not sure which one that one was. I have to look it up. Not sure about this one either. Yeah, it's not giving. Let's play a little bit more.
Battle.
Feel we should forego the restraints.
She is touched by something otherworldly.
What if what she really needs is a doctor?
We are paying a price for your lack of faith.
By your holy resurrection,
Deliver us, O Lord.
Something is happening, and it's affecting all of us.
What you are doing is failing.
At making a good exorcism movie. That's what you're failing at.
I want to shut this down.
I feel like I'm being drawn into something. I can't sleep. I can't think.
For us to be divided. It's for us to fall. We are the ones that stand in the breach and hold back the dark.
He's phoning it in. I feel like Al Pacino is phoning it in. I did think of a positive, not quite an exorcism movie, but a possession movie that I really liked. Late Night with the Devil. That one was good until they did that little bit of CGI at the end. I didn't love the CGI at the end. Before the CGI, it was really
darkness.
it is he who commands you. Look at the light, Emma! See the cross of the Lord. Reveal yourself.
Yeah.
Emma?
Emma's up on the ceiling, right? Okay, you fail with the voice. You fail with the voice every time. How do y'all not listen to the voice in The Exorcist and get a similar voice? Like, why do they do the same tired, quote unquote demon voice? No. Another one that was actually enjoyable to watch, although extremely bad. The Deliverance. It was horrible. It was awful, but it was so bad it was good. Let's see. Let me come up here. Double Feeder says, I'm only looking forward to seeing what Flanagan will do with it, The Exorcist. I agree. Flanagan knows how to give you some creepy creeps. Tom Baker says, they had Anthony Hopkins in one of these exorcism movies, and it was bad. Fomiki Lachi says, it would be interesting if the demon jumps from one person to another while they're trying to do the exorcism. Yeah, do something interesting like that. Double Feeder says it was called The Possession. I remember The Possession. Tom Baker says, I hate that audio. JJ says, I thought The Pope's Exorcist was pretty good. Let me go up here. Tom Baker says, I hate the camera work. Double Feature says, Late Night with the Devil was great. Yep, and that one is, I believe it's still on Shudder. Double Feature Podcast says, I also love The Exorcism of Emily Rose. That was creepy. I will admit, The Exorcism of Emily Rose was very creepy. Tony says, The Possession of Mike King was decent. Yes, I forgot about that. That was a found footage possession movie. It was really good. Dell on Movies. Pacino has been phoning in for a while. Yep. Another one that people don't recognize as a possession movie, but totally is a possession movie to me, is Wreck. I mentioned it earlier tonight, but Wreck is more of a possession movie than it is. It's advertised a little bit like it might be a zombie movie, but instead of zombies, it's actually a demon possession that is jumping from place to place. So, okay. I have a trailer to share with you guys from something that just dropped. Like, I just found out about it. It's so new. Let me bring up my notes because I don't want to forget to say anything. This trailer here is for a short film called it comes in two parts. Sarah's Web. By the way, this is from an indie director, very independent director. I'm not talking about a nepo baby that's playing in indie spaces. I'm talking about a truly independent director. She says, I just released my true crime film, Sam's Web, which is the first Black serial killer film ever made. It features the most prolific serial killer in the U.S., Samuel Little. Part 1 was released this past Monday, and Part 2 was released today. I'm going to go ahead and play, and again, very, very short trailer, Sam's Web. That's a nice bumper. Bloodstained Films.
I was born June 7, 1940, in a small town of Reynolds, Georgia. My mama was 16 years old when she gave birth to me in prison.
Oh, in prison.
But she never raised me.
Oh, you can tell this is shot in Florida. I love it. I'll get to look around and see if I can guess where they were shooting at.
Why me? Why me? That's just how I get them.
It's giving Grindhouse. I enjoy that.
They fall right into my well.
Let me put the title back up. Sam's Web. Okay, Sam's Web is available exclusively on YouTube. It's only for subscribers though. You have to subscribe to @HorrorGuide 2021. Let me go here so you can see the channel if it'll click there. There we go. Horror Tour Guide. This is the channel. You want to subscribe in order to be able to watch Part 1 and Part 2. And you can also follow her on Instagram at Women of Color and Horror 1. So that's at I'm able to play this, but you should subscribe to her channel and also follow her on Instagram at Women of Color and Horror 1. Also, I have a interview with her on my channel. I should repost it. I'll repost it in my community page so you guys get to see it. She's really cool. All right. Let's see what the comments are saying. Tom Baker says Emily Rose was very dreamlike. I like that movie. Double Feature says love Wreck. Dell says the Evil Dead franchise has lots of good possession movies. Yes, true. Because Deadites would be perceived to me as also possessed human beings. Tom Baker says A Haunting in Connecticut was also a good exorcism movie. Good. Isn't there an English movie version of Wreck? Yes, it's called Quarantine. I haven't seen I even though I own the DVD of Quarantine, I've never opened it and watched it. It was given to me as a gift. I need to watch it one day. Oh, Double Features beat me to the punch says yes, Sandy, Quarantine. Sandy says yes, Quarantine. Thanks, Double Feature. Double Feature says we'll definitely subscribe. And Dell says, I thought that trailer would have really creepy with just the music and no talking. Still interested. All right, let's get into, we got 2 more and then I've got to get out of here because I have an interview tonight at 10 p.m. I will be having on Jose Prendes, who just dropped a new movie. It's coming out this Friday in a sec. Let's get into Best Wishes to All official trailer. This is coming out this Friday on Shudder.
ごめんね。私たち年寄りのために若い人たちが犠牲になって。え？
And you see that's directed by Takashi Shimizu. That name sounds familiar. Where do I know Takashi Shimizu from? Let's see. Let's look on IMDb right quick. Takashi Shimizu. Ju-on The Grudge. Okay, now I'm really extra interested. Yes, The Grudge. Okay, let's check it out.
今は幸せ？
Oh, of course, if I had waited 1 second later, it would have told me the story of my life. Okay, let's get back into it.
迷惑。何してるの？誰か止めてよ！止めて！この人のおかげで私たちの幸せが成り立ってるの。え？
What the heck was that? Okay, I'm interested. What is the runtime on this? Let's look at the runtime on this. And the title of this movie is Best Wishes to All. Interesting title. Best Wishes to All. There we go. This is 12 minutes. So it's a short? Or did they make a full-length movie out of the short? I'm confused. Yeah, this says 12 minutes. Now, it's possible it could be a short. If it's a short, I'm going to stop the trailer right here because it's going to reveal too much. Yeah, I'm not going to play the full trailer because if this is a 12-minute short, it's going to reveal too much. This long trailer, so I'm not going to do that. Titular heroine is here. She says, we'll subscribe, but oh God, the Sam Little case freaks me out. I have to get into that. I think I might come back on here on Monday and investigate Sam Little case because I haven't done a true crime type of thing in a while. I'm looking at this trailer of Sam's Web. Is he a serial killer? Yes. He's known as the most prolific serial killer in American history, and I think he's one of the first Black serial killers as well. Whomever gives you all these horror gifts and nostalgic things must be an awesome person. I'm gonna ignore that because it's not good manners to toot your own horn. Double Feature says already had me with the director. Yes. Double Feature says the trailer has me very interested. Tom Baker says Tony Man, yes, and his home address is 666 Good Guy Road. Faux Mickey Latte says that's when you ban your grandparents from visiting. Double Feature says, Shash, you have to check out the short crime by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Let me take a screen capture of this. So I will remember this note. Here we go. I got a screen capture of it. Okay, now moving on. Got 2 more orders of business, and then what time is it? Yeah, okay. I can get these 2. Zombie Whisperer says, best wishes to all has some creepy visuals. Thanks for sure. Yeah. Okay. And this one is courtesy of Fangoria. This opens this Friday too. No, next Friday, the June 20th. Let me just double check on the calendar when June 20th is. Yeah, it's next Friday. I'm correct. Okay. So this is Fangoria, courtesy of Fangoria, written by Amber T. Headline reads, Whitney Peak fights a supernatural curse in new Eye for an Eye trailer. Colin Tilley's feature debut hits select theaters and VOD on June 20th. A supernatural curse runs rampant in the new trailer for Eye for an Eye, an upcoming gothic horror from Vertical, hitting select theaters and on demand on June 20th. Starring Whitney Peak, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Hocus Pocus 2, S. Apatha Murkerson, Chicago Med, Golda Rocheville, Queen Charlotte, A Bridgerton Story, Lake and Giles, All the Weekend's Drama, and Finn Bennett, True Detective, Night Country. Eye for an Eye marks the feature debut of veteran music video director Colin Tilley, who has worked with everyone from Nicki Minaj to G-Dragon. Based on a graphic novel named Mr. Sandman by Elise Victoria, who also handled script duties on the film alongside Michael Tully, Eye for an Eye follows Anna Peake, grieving the sudden death of her parents, relocates from New York to a small Florida town to live with the grandmother Murkinson, with her grandmother played by Murkinson, that she's never met. Isolated and in unfamiliar surroundings, she falls in with a couple of local teens, Bennett and Giles. But when she becomes a bystander to an unforgivable act of violence, she finds herself ensnared by Mr. Sandman, the twisted soul of a tormented child who haunts bullies' dreams before feasting on their eyeballs when they finally wake. Now that sounds promising. All right, they have a trailer here. Let's check it out. Looks like she's eating an eyeball in this still. But let's check out the trailer here. Or An Eye for an Eye.
Remember, you're dreaming. Remember, you're dreaming.
Well, I'm from Brooklyn. Both my parents died in a car accident. I'm living with my grandma now. What happened to her eyes?
Sandman is what happened to your grandma.
Sandman?
May was mean, callous, wanted everything her way. One night she woke up and there he was.
Oh, that's messed up.
Punishes those who do bad. There's a tree in the woods.
Already, I like the premise of this, and I like what they're doing with it.
But you'll know it when you see it. Writing the names of the people that have done you wrong. Injustice will take its course.
Have you been having nightmares?
Yeah.
You can't escape if you're sleeping.
As he has done, it shall be done to him.
Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street. On it. They did it a little
Eye for
different.
eye, tooth for tooth. Remember, you're dreaming.
Did she have candles in her hair?
Remember, you're dreaming.
Oh, I thought there was candles in her hair. It was just lights in the back.
Remember, you're dreaming.
I like how several of these movies have finally started taking some notes from Nightmare on Elm Street. I noticed it with the Black Phone 2 trailer. We noticed it today with Marshmallow, and now this. Finally, Freddy has some babies.
Hello? My name was carved into that tree.
Remember, you're dreaming.
Oh.
Remember, you're dreaming.
That would have been cooler if they could have executed that without the CGI. But yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Tony Man says, by the way, I love a good true crime movie like Monster. Yep. Sandy says, Shudder has some decent horror movies I see. Yes, they do. Double Feature says, Shudder does have some good ones, Sandy. And they also say, Kira and I just saw the trailer for Eye for an Eye. Definitely want to see this one. Tony Man says, if anyone enjoys found footage movies, there's a free website called Found TV. It has tons of them. It's also a legit website. Titular Heroine says, that graphic novel is going right into my reading list. Del on Movie says, definitely Elm Street vibes when I'm in. Double Feature says, definitely giving some Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. Definitely giving some Nightmare on Elm Street vibes. And then Sandy Absolute says, isolation and grandparents that we've never met, a recipe for disaster. Yeah, do you remember The Visit? that was interesting. So it says there was a movie with two kids that went to their grandparents' house on a farm that was pretty good. I just can't remember. It was The Visit. I think you're thinking of The Visit. Let me just check. My phone keeps buzzing, and hopefully I'm just making sure it's not a okay, I'm just making sure there's no emergencies. No, it's just updates. And my sister sending me TikTok videos. Okay. That's why my phone keeps buzzing. But I am about to get out of here. Let me just play you the trailer for what I'm getting into next, because I'm going to be back on here in about 20 minutes. Let's see here. Kaiju says I dated a Michael King. He definitely was not possessed. He was pretty bland. That's cool to hear. Dell says I really like The Visit. I liked it too, especially when the grandmother was in her house. That was creepy. All right, so let me stop the screen and close this out. Close that out. So we have just the last thing here. Like I said, I will be back on here in about 20 minutes because I'm going to have the director, Jose Prendez, as well as 3 of the cast members from a new movie called Morgan Killer Doll, which comes out this Friday. And let's get into the trailer for that. There we go. All right, let's get into it.
I'm ready. I'm ready to tell Astrid. Let's check out there. It's your birthday present. I can't wait to see what's inside. Oh my god.
Why would she give you this?
Shout out to whoever cosplays this doll. Hold on. Whoever cosplays this, the mask itself is creepy. That's all I'm going to say. Or the face is creepy.
Percy. You'll miss me when I'm gone. Are you soaked in gasoline? Dad, we need to get in the car and have to go now. Darcy! She couldn't have gone far. I mean, she was on...
It is horrible.
That's an extreme way to go.
Happened. We just want you to know that we're here for you. If you ever need to talk, here's where you can find me.
She gave me a life-size rag doll.
Wow.
You're scaring me.
We know very little about the world that we live in. And the world around us is terrifying.
Astrid?
Where the hell is everyone?
Fiona, where are you, homie?
I'm gonna get help.
Okay, so I will be talking to them in a few minutes. I also will be reviewing the movie. I think what's going to happen because of my schedule, I'll probably post a short review of the movie tomorrow on TikTok, and then I'll post the longer review on YouTube. The movie's not what you think it is. I'll tell you that. That's why I let the trailer play, because you think that you've seen a lot in the trailer, but there's some details that kind of, well, at least it threw me for a loop. So I hope that happens with you guys too. I'll call it a twist and a reveal wrapped up together. Let's see. Kaiju says, whoa, cool. I love killer doll movies. Double Feature says, looks fun. Double Feature says, yes, love a killer doll movie. By the way, I do have on here, let me see if I can go to my channel. I do have a doll-a-thon that I published maybe a few weeks ago. I would say maybe about a month ago. And I'll show you. Okay, so when we come off here, anybody who wants to come back into the room to view the interview with Jose and the cast, just come out of here and then click on this link at 10 p.m. We'll be on at 10 p.m. and talking about Morgan. My doll-a-thon, if you're looking for that, This is it right here. As you can see, it's got Black Devil Doll from Hell, Chucky, Robert the Doll, Annabelle the Doll. I just talked about killer doll movies and also some of their inspirations for those killer doll movies. So let me get out of here and get ready for the next leg of this. Just come back in at 10 p.m. and click on here, and we will get back into it. We'll be joined by Jose and a few cast members from Morgan Killer Doll. Okay, Dole Future says, yes, love a good killer doll movie. And Sandy Absolute says, that doll looks crazy. Also, you notice I did not put in my commercials tonight. I didn't have time, but I will share on the timeline what I'm wearing tonight, which is comes from SHEIN. I'll give you the details of the halter top, the necklace, the ring. I took pictures. Oh, also even my watch band. It'll look better in pictures than on my janky computer camera. I am going to try to use a different camera next week. I'm going to try to hook my computer up to a different webcam and see if it gives us a better look. But you guys can stay tuned for that. And we will see you in, let me see, 13 minutes. Let me get out of here. Bye.